Welcome everyone. Today we're doing a hands-on Canva workshop with Rachel, and really we're going to talk about templates that we have. So Rachel put together a little templates guide, or I shouldn't say guide, but some sample templates, and we will be putting this in the toolkit as well. But so I dropped that in the chat, so feel free to open that up if you want to, again, go through the process with everything. Before I turn it over to Rachel, I'm going to share my screen and show you what it looks like when you do open up that template. All right, so when you click any of those links that we had sent over, this is the first screen that you get. So if the template has multiple pages, and we'll get into what a page is in a little bit, you're going to see a little arrow here, and you can look at the different templates that are connected to that file, or again, those pages. And you have option to edit the template, which I do not recommend unless you are sharing this internally with someone that you are working directly on that file with, because it will change the content of that file. But instead, you're going to want to use this template for new design. And so when you click this, it will open up a copy of this template with all of the design pieces for you. And you will see from your Canva, it renames it to copy of and then the file name. So you can then change this to anything that you would like it to be. So if you, for example, if you're working on business cards for your board of directors, you might want to label that specifically. And then from this point forward, this template will become yours to edit and work with. So I just wanted to share that's what it's going to look like when you first start to go into this process. So now I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to Rachel. For those of you who do not know Rachel, Rachel is our executive director for our California North chapter. And so she has been using Canva now for, I mean, several years before the pandemic, I believe. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Rachel.
Hi guys, I did see that someone said that they don't have access to the design via that Word document. So what I'm going to do is drag and drop the links in as I talk about them. And if you still don't have access to the design, please send me an email and let me know. I'll put my email in the system, and then we'll work with Kelly to get an updated document to post to the server. But anyway, so hi, this came about because I got emailed a couple of times about certain templates that I'm using at my chapter. And then I also got emailed kind of about like business cards for the smaller chapters. We don't really have marketing teams. We're kind of just like flying by the seat of our pants on a lot of this stuff. And so the business card one was really the one that I was like, oh, like I should just make a couple templates in Canva that people can use to help them with this graphic stuff. And I'll explain why I feel like some of them have actually led to chapter growth. So I'm going to walk through the templates that I am providing you guys for use today. And then we're going to kind of go through like how you can edit them, etc. Sound good? Kelly? Okay. Okay. All right. So this is the first template. This is a business card. This is drafted after the one from National. It is fully editable. I have used colors that I pulled from the logo in this design. So it should be the correct coloring. Again, use it as you will. This is the front. This is the back. There's 3 different options in here. This is the front. This is the back. And you put your own logo in front. You could put a headshot in this one if you want. Totally up to you. And back, put your logo. What's nice about Canva is that you can just order them once you're done. Like you can just go over here and order them and they'll do all the checks for you and send it off. Their pricing is relatively competitive. To like a Vistaprint, unless you have a coupon, obviously. But I found that their pricing is relatively competitive, and they also, that's the wrong template. They also do send out really quickly. I've seen them shipped to me within like 5 days. So good option to have. So the other templates that I tend to use that I'm providing you with, this is a header For any of your email marketing, I know some of you already do this, but the consistency in the email marketing has been really key for us at the chapter. Our headers always look the same for the educational programs. And so when people open up the email, they instantly know what it's going to be. And I've included some other like additional optional speaker photo templates that you can edit to put into your design if you want. I was finding I was having trouble with my new Flex system with Cvent doing the speaker photos individually in the HTML of the email. So I just started doing them in Canva. It was way faster and just uploading one image instead of making sure I had every speaker's headshot in the system, etc. So now all of my images live in Canva for the most part and on the OneDrive. Um, but we've definitely seen a lot of growth in registration and retention in registration for our educational programs and events based on having the consistent marketing of people knowing when they instantly like open the email, they know it's us. So do with that what you will. The next one to come up was the manager day one. And this was kind of like a big marketing piece for us. I know National pushed it out. They sent the graphic, which was great. But there wasn't like an editable template, to just like drag and drop the images of your managers in and to edit the text. And so this is this one from this year, and then this is last year's. And if they do a different graphic for next year, I'll add to this template so you can use it if you want. We found that this was really helpful because it made it easier for us me at the staff level to be like, just send me your headshot. Do you want to be included in this? And then they got it posted and tagged on social. And it actually was a really big, good social movement for us. They were commenting, their friends were commenting on the pictures. And all they had to do was respond to an email and say, here's my headshot. I would like one. I saw you come off mute.
Yeah, so I just wanted to also share with this, and I know you'll get deeper into it, but just because it popped in and I don't want to forget about it. One of the things, if you're doing a campaign like this and you're using a template, and let's say you have 5 people that you want to do this with, it is very easy to have this template and copy it and design it for each of them, export it as individual files from this, and then share it with those people. Or again, if it's something that you are doing from the chapter perspective, you have those as separate files, even though within Canva, it's looking like, again, you can see the 2 pages that are here, you can export those as separate files. So again, very easy to use, but keeping it together in one spot within Canva instead of doing new files for each one.
And I do see a lot of you in here looking at it, totally fine. But if you are going to use this, make sure to do what Kelly said and make a copy of the template. Because I can see you in here. So just don't edit this one, okay? Or else it'll edit it for everybody else. Just as an FYI, it's totally fine to be in here looking at it. So the next one that we found that really helps that we use a lot is a speaker image. So what we do is if we have a speaker for an educational program, we make them this image and we send it to them. And they usually will post it on their social, and that's extra marketing for us. And it's relatively free. I think it takes me, because again, all of my headshots tend to live in Canva now. It takes me like maybe 2 minutes to edit this and send it to the speakers and stuff like that. And it's just additional marketing that they are pushing. We've also seen new memberships from this because people are like, oh, what are you involved in? So this is just kind of like a not free because it's your time, but a free way of like helping them help you and also giving them credit for speaking. We will also post this image and tag them to our own page, but we have seen them do it to their page as well. And I know we're not quite walking through like how to edit the template yet, but for this one, like as an example, this is a layer on top of the image. So you can change this color to whatever you want and change this background image to whatever is locally your vibe. And Canva does have a lot of great searchable images for cities, states, whatever you're looking for, education. If you want this to be books, that's totally up to you. This is just what we use. So I can't see it. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Okay, this is the same concept, but for the sponsors. Now, this does take a lot more time. If you have like a bunch of sponsors, this will take you a significant amount of time, but the ROI on it, I guess I could say, is significant for us because we do this for every single event. We send it to the sponsors that have sponsored that specific event, and we do it for our networking too, and it's all customized to that event with their logo, and they will post it. Because they like to see, they like to say that they're doing these things, and we do not post these ones. This is entirely up to them. If they are sponsoring the event and they want the credit for it on their end, they need to post it. But we have seen an uptick in attendance at our events because of sponsors going, hey, I have a reg table at the educational luncheon, and it's got the title and everything on there and the date, and do you want to come with me? And so it's good for them. Again, it's all fully editable. Put your own logo up here. This is how I lay it out. Feel free to edit this to whatever works for your people. These are just the things that I've seen that have worked for me. And last but not least, I mean, I feel like all of us have a calendar that we really like to use. Our calendar is not nearly as robust as many of your calendars, so this might not work for you. But Canva does have a lot of options for calendars that are like prettyfied. And you can also go straight through their printing now to just get them printed and sent to your house. So it's a good option if you don't live locally to like a FedEx or something like that. So those are the templates I am providing links to. Feel free to use them. And now I think we're going to go through how to edit.
Yeah.
You want me to do that?
Does anyone have any questions as of right now? I know we saw a lot of you going into those templates and kind of looking at them, and Rachel giving that overview of how she's using that. So I just want to pause for a second, make sure if anyone has a question that we can answer that before we really go into the editing piece of it.
And please make sure you make a copy of all of the templates before you start editing them. It will say copy of whatever the template is, and then you can start working on it.
All right, so we're gonna go in. Rachel's gonna share and go into the editing piece of this. If at any time you have a question or something's not making sense, please please feel free to come off mute or throw something in the chat, and I'll come off mute and share that. Because again, we want to make sure this is beneficial to all of you and you're getting what you need out of this. So feel free to come off mute at any time. All right.
Kathy, I'm going to use Heartland for my editing. Is that okay? Okay. Okay, because I have her logo. So, okay. So
yes,
this one's
please. I said yes, please use mine.
Okay. So I'm gonna just make a copy of this because I also don't want to screw up the template. So we'll start with like the business cards, for example. So it's very simple. This is the if you didn't like the yellow, you could go up here to this bar, and this is the yellow color. Now I have my brand colors set up in Canva. So I have already gone in, pulled colors from the logos. Canva did it for me. You just say pull colors from logo, and then you decide which ones actually are like what you think. So I already have all of my things set up here for my different clients. So here's CNC if you want to know, and it's got the actual codes in there. Now these might, I would check with National on their codes too, just in case, but like, let's say you don't like the whatever color it is and you want it to be blue. That's how easy it is to change it. If you're like, oh my gosh, I just deleted something, it's ruined forever, go up to the top and just undo it. Now, I will advise you that there is only like 5 levels of undo in Canva. It is not infinite. It's not like Microsoft Word where you can just keep going. I think it only stores like 5 iterations of things that before it's like, well, you screwed that up 5 times ago. Like, there's no hope now. But again, if you like really do run into one of those issues, go back to the original template and make a new copy.
And Rachel, really quick before you move on to, can you select that item again, the light yellow?
Yeah.
And the color box in the main toolbar right there. Yours pops up on the other side. That's why it was confusing me. But you can see it will also share the document colors. So when Rachel was saying, you know, it's pulling colors from the logos and things, if you put an image here, it pulls what colors are there. So it really does help you match that design aspect of it. Because again, Canva is going to tell you where they are. So it really helps bring that layer to it.
That's a great point. So like here's the photo colors, here's all of the colors that are in the document, and just so you can kind of see, I have no idea what's in here, so I apologize. So just so you can kind of see how it does that, if you go now back over to the colors, here it's added the 3 colors from the image that I've just added. And this works for almost all images too. It's not just logos. I've seen it try to pull colors from even their stock photos. So that's a good way of getting the color balance too. But basically you would just kind of go in here and you can edit all of this information to what you want it to be. You can make it bigger, whatever you want. This was just kind of the layout that was from the original PDF from National. And then, so for example, if you were like, this is not our logo, you just delete it and you would need to upload your logo. So you go into your uploads and you click upload files, find your logo on your desktop locally, store it in Canva. You do not need to have a pro account to have logos stored in Canva. The pro account is $135 a year. I think it's worth every penny, but I live in this system. So that's up to you and your board. But then you would just search for your logo and put it in here and adjust it. And let's say that like I didn't want the white background. I would click the logo and you go right up here to this BG remover that stands for background remover. And most of the time it does a good job. Ideally, you have the PNG version of your logo, which I think National does provide. And a PNG version is usually transparent, which means that there is no background. So even if you open up the image and it looks like it has white there, when it uploads into Canva, it's going to have a transparent background, which means that the actual logo pieces, like the letters and stuff, are crisper because they've been formatted to not have a background. Now, Canva did an exceptional job because I remember back in the days of Photoshop, it used to take me eons to get rid of all the little like pieces in between the D and the A, and I'd have to go through and like select them, get rid of them. But Canva does a pretty good job. And Kelly, does the national team have
Yes, so that's a great question. That was going to come a little bit later, but we will be designing some templates for the chapters to use. And so one of the questions I'm going to put out at the end of this call is what style of templates that you would like to see us design for you. As you all know, I've been sharing probably with you all for the past year. We're updating our website and we are in the home stretch of that. So our marketing team is really fully making sure that is. So that's our main priority right now. So these templates will be provided after that. So I don't want to make a promise that it's going to come at the end of this month or anything like that. But it is something that is on our marketing team's radar, and just to provide some guidance to make sure we're providing you with the actual templates that you'll have that need for. So as we're talking today, please think about what type of templates would be useful for you, and we will be putting that together. I also want to clarify, I've gotten this question before. Canva has team accounts. We have looked into team accounts and what that would be. Their price point is actually more expensive than the individual version. And knowing that we can share templates and things like that, it didn't make sense for us to have a team account that would be more expensive per individual use for that. So again, most of it you can get off the free version, but there are going to be some things that you might not get if you are working off that free version. Now, I will say, you know, Rachel referenced she has the paid version. So if a template has an item and it's part of the paid premium version, you will see a lock or a crown image on that, or you might see a watermark on that image. So you can always replace those within a template with one of the free images, or again, if you have an image that you use, again, Media Valley is great for that, that we've got all of those images that are already copyright free for the chapters to use. So you can always import an image from Media Valley into Canva and use one of those images too. So I think that's the biggest difference I've always seen is the image use, is whether or not that's locked.
Okay, so let's get into a little bit of image editing. So this is the header option, for example. I've already made a copy of this. These are obviously geared towards Cal North. So you would go in and delete them. This is a photo strip. So these are all connected already. But you can, like, if the images look better smaller and you want to make the text bigger, you can just move it like this and it'll auto adjust the images. So let's go over here. If you go over here to Canva's photos section, you can search for what you're looking for. Let's do Virginia. So these are what come up, and this is the crown thing that Kelly's talking about. These are pro images. However, you can go up here to this little filter icon and you can pick free. So it'll show you the free images. So you know exactly what you actually can use. And then let's say I love this image. So I'll go over and I'll drag it until it pops in and let go. Now, I like that image. Do I like the way it's positioned? No. So instead of just clicking it and trying to move it, you have to double click into it and it brings up like a crop box. And then from there, you can adjust it to fit your template. And it might be hard to see on the share screen, but it does kind of like show you the lines of the box. So you can kind of decide, oh, okay, I like, that better. Right. So there are ways to adjust it within the frame itself. So, and then as you do adjust these, it will change a little bit with how the picture is framed. So just keep that in mind. But all of the images in Canva are drag and drop. If you ever accidentally find yourself going like this, just like undo it. I've done that so many times. If you ever find yourself trying to layer photos and it doesn't work, so like if I'm like, oh, I want to put one in between them, right? And you go like this and it's like popping and it keeps doing this. Lock this bar. So if you go up to the top, you can click over into these formatting things, and it's a little rough. Oh, actually, it's right here, right? Allow only position. Am I about to screw myself? Is this not a thing anymore?
It was right there when you were in position. Right over at the, yeah, I think that's, well,
no, that's ratio.
No, that's the ratio. Layers. As you can tell, just like every other tech
lock
piece, okay. Yeah, there you go. They tend to move things around on us
all the
time. Often, yeah. So feel free to, again, like Rachel said, you can't really screw up a lot of things here, and if you do, you just do that undo button. But sometimes things might be in a different spot, and depending on what browser you use, that can also have an effect as well.
Yeah. You just have to play around with it. There's a way to do it. Like I was used to going like over here, you just right click the image and then you click lock. But for some reason it didn't work. But anyway, again, it's trial and error. These are just some examples that we use that we've liked. So it is what it is. And then let's see. So this is the we're sponsoring one. These get a little more finicky based on logos, right? Because all of their logos are all different sizes and different like shapes. And some of them they send to you and they don't have a background. And some do. Now, I don't particularly like this. So when I run into I like it when they send me the image like this. I don't like it for this specific design because it doesn't have a background. It doesn't pop. So what I will typically do is go over into elements and I will grab a just a regular shape tool and I'll give it a background. Now, again, this does take your time. So it depends on whether or not you find this valuable with your specific business partners. I have found it valuable with mine because they tend to sponsor more and share with their friends. And then I've gotten like new business partner members because of it, which is helpful for the chapter, obviously. So then now it's popping, right? So it just depends on the logo that you have.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Again, if you have any questions about Canva, feel free to reach out to myself. One of our marketing team, Amanda, uses Canva a lot. And as you know, Rachel, because she's here presenting today. So feel free to reach out. We also have the exchange group, whether you're a chapter leader or chapter staff, that you can use that if you have any specific questions. But thank you guys for taking the time to join us today.